Hello my bad bees, it's your girl, of course, Erin B, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm so excited to finally be releasing this tutorial for you guys. This video has actually been in the works for like the last 6 or 7 months, but I'm really happy to finally release it all to you guys. I'm literally so excited right now to show you this that I'm physically shaking. And I did my absolute best to keep this video under wraps for as long as I possibly could, but I'm super excited to tell you guys that this video is in collaboration with the one and only Miss Emma P, and I know that you all know exactly who I'm talking about. In case you guys don't already know her, go over to her channel, go subscribe to her. She is the sweetest, most kind-hearted person I've ever talked to, and just like me, Emma is another crochet designer here on YouTube who puts wonderful and helpful crochet basics tutorials out for everybody to watch. So again, if you guys aren't already subscribed to her, go check her out. I love her videos, they're so easy to follow. And let's just go ahead and jump into today's video. Thank you, Emma, so much again for working with me on this project. It was really fun to be able to send you stuff. So to get started on this collaboration, several months back, Emma and I decided that it would be really fun to mail each other different yarns for us to create a project with. So as you guys will see in the upcoming clips, I got to send a very special package all the way to Ireland where Miss Emma lives, and likewise she also sent me a package here to the US where I live. So we got to FaceTime each other and open up the yarns. So at this point I'm gonna go ahead and roll the footage from a few months back. I'm sure you guys are gonna notice that I look very different now compared to back then. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly get that out of the way because I know that I'm probably gonna get a ton of comments from people saying that I look extremely different than I did several months ago. But this tutorial has been filmed over the course of several months. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and cue over the tutorial now.
Go ahead.
Let's do it. Do the damage. I got scissors. I'm ready for this. Oh!
Erin.
This is so cool.
I thought we'd get a bit of Ireland. I'm obsessed with these colors. No, this is perfect. Erin, these colors are lovely.
Yes, we did it. We killed it. Okay, we're doing so good. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye. Have a good night. Bye. And these are the beautiful shades of yarn that she's picked out for me to use. I love how bold and creative Emma was with her shade palette because, as you guys know here on my channel, pinks and magentas are not typically the colors that I lean towards the most, but when they're paired with a nice bright white and some orange, I think that these colors are stunning, and I already have an idea of what I want to make. The brand of yarn that Emma has selected for me is by Yarn & Colors, and it is their Epic 100% cotton yarn. But before I get carried away with the tutorial, I firstly just want to say thank you so much, Emma. And I'm just very grateful for this opportunity to get to know you, and I truly feel like I have a friend halfway across the world. So I guess it's time to get on into this tutorial. All right, so it's been a few days and I've had some time to kind of play around with this yarn and get my hands used to it. And I think that I have finally decided on what I want to make with this. I just had this overwhelming feeling to make some type of dress. And over the last few days, I've had a little bit of time to play around with different size squares. And in case you guys couldn't even tell already, I've made quite a handful in a few different sizes. But to add some variation to the dress, I don't want the entire mini dress to just be all these big fat squares. So I've whipped up a few of these really tiny squares to kind of incorporate within the dress, so there's different sizes along with the different colors. So I'm just gonna hop on over to my desk and kind of give you guys a step-by-step tutorial on how I'm making these patches. All right, so now I'm gonna show you guys how I've been making those 2 different sizes of squares. I'm just gonna start off with a nice bright color so it's easy for you guys to see all of my stitches. And again, in order to make this dress, the yarn that I'll be using is Yarn & Colors Epic Yarn. This is their 100% cotton yarn, and even though the recommended hook size is a 5mm, I'm actually going to gravitate towards my 4.5mm hook because I want my stitches to be nice and tight and try to minimize any gaps as possible. All right, so I'm going to start off with my large squares, which is going to begin with your standard slip knot. And for my patchwork dress, I'm going for a 4" by 4" square. So for my gauge of 4 inches across, I need to begin with a chain of 14 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and finally there is my 14th stitch. And because I'm working with double crochets, I'm going to chain 2 for turning. I'm going to yarn over and add my first double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So there's my first double crochet, and that's my chaining 2 for that turn. And from here, I'm just going to continue to add 1 double crochet into each chain. So I'm going to find that next stitch, make a double crochet, and just carry on down this chain. Coming up here on my last 2 stitches, don't forget to pick up your very last stitch in the row. This is my 14th double crochet. And once I've reached the end of my row, I can chain 2 for turning and turn my work. And once you've learned how to do that first initial row, you can work the rest of the square in the same exact pattern. So to go ahead and start my second row, I'm going to go into that very first stitch right here and make that first double crochet. And again, looking here at my next stitch, and now I'm just going to carry on down the row, making sure that I grab every single stitch. You don't want to drop anything here, or else you're going to result in a big gaping hole, and you don't want that for your dress. You want everything to be covered up. And after my 13th stitch, I should have 1 more. Don't forget to pick it up. Give you nice clean edges. And there is the end of my second row. So now that I've kind of shown you guys the basics to this pattern, all you have to do is add a total of 8 rows. So since I have 2 rows done here, all I need to do is go back and add 6 more, and then my square is completed. All right, so I finally finished up those 8 rows in total, and just to double check, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 rows of those double crochet. And just to show you guys some measurements across my square, I have 4 inches. And the length of my square is also 4 inches. So I've got that 4x4 square going on here. And now that I've finished up that square, I can go ahead and cut off my yarn and tie a cute little knot here at the corner. So my work is secured. So now that I've shown you how to make this large square, you can go ahead and make a ton of these. And now I can go ahead and show you how I make these tiny little squares. And just to quickly show you guys some size measurements, here's my 4x4, and here is my cute little square. And you guys have guessed it, this is a 2x2 square. So again, I'm just making these little tiny ones for a little bit of variation within the dress. All right, and you guys have guessed it, to make your small square, go ahead and start off with your slip knot. So to get those little baby squares, I'm going to start off with a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here is my 7th stitch. From here, again, I'm working with double crochets, so I'm going to chain 2 for turning. The turning does not count as a stitch. I'm going to yarn over, and in the 3rd stitch from the hook, I'm going to place my first double crochet. So I'm going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and again yarn over, pull through 2. So there's that first little double crochet, and now I'm just going to carry on the chain like I did in the previous tutorial. Find that very next stitch right here, insert, pull up, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Here is that very last stitch. And when you're done with your row, just make sure that you have a total of 7 double crochet. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and my 7. I can go ahead and chain 2 for turning and turn my work. And of course, because I'm making a smaller square, I'm only going to be working a total of 4 rows. So I've already got my first one done. I'm going to start in on my second. Make sure that you go into that very first stitch because that chain 2 does not count as a stitch. There's my third double crochet. So I'm finishing up here with that 7th stitch. My edges are nice and clean. I haven't dropped any stitches. And again, you're just going to work 2 more rows now in the same exact pattern. All right, and now I just have that final double crochet. This is my 7th stitch in the row. And there I have my little mini square. So again, I can cut my yarn and tie off a knot. And again, to show you some measurements across my mini square, I have 2 inches. And from top to bottom on my square, I also have my 2 inches. So at this point, all I have left to do right now is to whip up the rest of these squares. And I'm going to go ahead and use all of my bright, beautiful colors. And once I have everything all completed, I'm going to hop back on here, show you how many squares I have, and show you how I stitch together my dress. I did my best to kind of calculate out how many squares I would need exactly for this project. So I'm really hoping and praying that I made enough squares for this project. I believe that I have 30 of my large squares, and as for my small squares, I believe I made 34 in total. So I've just finished mixing up the squares and kind of just trying to find the right placement for all the different colors. I think I'm just going to sew it all the way down one row, start by the next row, and kind of just do it literally all in one go. I'm trying to minimize the amount of work that I have right now. Oh, and before I get to putting the dress together, the way that I'm going to go about joining all of these squares is just by using my 4.5mm hook. And I'm just going to be connecting the squares by slip stitching through the back loops only. So as you guys can see here, when I hit my corner on one of the squares, I'm just going to add on the next set of squares, again through those back loops only. I'm just going to yarn over and pull slip stitch through those back loops and slip stitch here at that corner. Just continue to work down the line. So I know that this looks super insane and crazy, but believe me when I tell you that everything on this first panel has been slip stitched together with this white yarn. I hope you guys can see that. All right, so I've just done the best that I can by placing this on my arm, but as you can see, everything has been slip stitched through that back loop. So it allows for a very clean seam here on that front. So I've just finished up stitching together the very first 2 rows together, and you guys can see my slip stitch in white all the way down the row. And now if you look back at my piece, I'm going to start by joining these 2 rows together. So I'm going to attach my yarn here at these 2 corners and just repeat the same process of slip stitching through the back loop only, and just make my way all the way down this row. And I'm just going to repeat that process for every single row. So once I finish here, I'm going to attach my yarn here at these 2 corners and work my way down and just continue to add down the rows. Okay, so I finally finished up a majority of this dress. I think that all I have left to do now are add on my tie straps at the very top of my dress. As you guys can see, I have a ton of ends to weave in, but regardless, all I have left right now are the straps. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. Okay, so now I have my 4 different colors here, just nice loose strands of yarn. And right here at the top of the chest, I'm going to connect my yarn. And to help me out with this, because my yarn's going to be thicker on the hook, I'm just using a 6.5mm hook. I'm just going to go ahead and pick a point, pull all of my yarns through. And right here, I'm just going to tie off my knot. And I actually prefer how it looks with the strands all loose like this. So I'm just going to repeat this process over here and on the back sides and leave a long tail so I can tie my shoulder straps at whatever length I want. But I think I'm just going to leave my straps nice and loose like this. Ooh, hi!
How's it going?
It's going good. Your hair looks so good. All right, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. You're teasing me. I have to see it. Oh, shoot, dude.
There she is.
Wait, I like how you did the strap. What the heck?
So I can put it in my video.
Me too.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Oh my
Let's see.
god. Oh,
So it's like...
that is stunning.